Let me start with something that sounds almost childish, almost silly, but once you hear it, you may not be able to forget it. Why doesn't everything collapse? I don't mean emotionally, I don't mean socially, I mean physically, right now. This chair you're sitting on, the floor beneath your feet, your own body, why hasn't it already fallen inward and disappeared? Because if you think about it for more than a few seconds, something feels wrong. We are told that atoms make up everything. Fine. And inside atoms there are parts that attract each other very strongly. Even stronger than magnets, stronger than gravity. So strong, in fact, that if we trusted our everyday intuition, atoms should not last even a fraction of a second. They should collapse. And yet, here we are. You can touch a table. You can lean against a wall. You can feel solidity, stability, persistence. And somehow we've learned to accept this as normal, as obvious, as not worth questioning. But it should bother you. Because attraction, if left alone, does only one thing. It pulls things together. It doesn't stop halfway. It doesn't politely pause. It keeps going until there is nothing left to pull. So why didn't atoms do that? Why didn't electrons simply fall into the nucleus and stay there forever? Why didn't matter collapse into a dense, tiny mess long before stars, planets, or people ever formed? Most explanations skip over this part quickly. They give you a picture, a tidy little diagram, a nucleus in the center, electrons floating around it like planets around the sun. And we nod our heads and move on. But that picture is quietly lying to you. Because planets orbit due to motion and gravity. If they slow down, they fall. If electrons worked that way, atoms would not survive. The universe would be very short-lived and very boring. So something else must be happening. And here is where common sense begins to fail. We like to believe that stability comes from strength, from something holding tight, from something rigid and firm. But at the atomic level, stability comes from something much stranger. Not strength, not solidity. It comes from restriction. Let me say that again because it sounds backwards. Atoms exist not because they are strongly held together, but because they are not allowed to collapse. There are rules, invisible ones, rules that do not care what feels reasonable to us. And those rules are not optional. Imagine trying to squeeze air into a smaller and smaller box. At first, it's easy. Then it becomes harder. Then suddenly, it pushes back. Not because the air is angry, not because it's alive, but because compressing it costs something, energy, effort. Resistance appears where none existed before. Now imagine doing that same thing at a much deeper level. Not with air, but with electrons. With the very fabric of matter. You try to confine them, you try to pin them down, and the universe says, that will cost you. This cost is not mechanical, it's not friction, it's not heat in the usual sense. It's more fundamental than that. It's built into the structure of reality itself. And this is where textbooks often rush. They give the result without letting you feel the struggle. They tell you what happens, but not why it's shocking. So let's slow down. Picture a crowded room, people standing shoulder to shoulder. As more people enter, it becomes uncomfortable. Movement becomes restricted. Tension rises. You can't squeeze indefinitely without consequences. Eventually, the crowd pushes back. Electrons behave a bit like that, not because they are people, but because confinement creates resistance. The more you try to localize them, the more energy it takes. The universe charges you a price for precision. And atoms exist right at the point where collapsing further becomes too expensive. That's not a metaphor. That's the core idea. Atoms are not solid things. They are compromises. They are what you get when attraction tries to win but is stopped by the cost of confinement. When inward pull meets a rule that says, you may not know everything at once. You may not be everywhere at once. You may not sit perfectly still. Electrons are restless not by choice, but by law. And this restlessness is not noise, it is structure. Without it there would be no size to atoms, no chemistry, no solids, no life. Everything you see exists because collapse is forbidden. Now think about how strange that is. Reality is not built from stillness. It is built from motion that cannot be removed, from uncertainty that cannot be eliminated, from limits that cannot be crossed. Common sense hates this. Common sense wants things to sit still, to settle down, to behave, but the universe refuses, and that refusal is the reason anything exists at all. Pause here for a moment and let that sink in. You are not standing on solid matter, you are standing on a balance between attraction and resistance, on a quiet argument between forces that never fully win. And this balance is not delicate in the way glass is delicate. It is robust because it is enforced by rules deeper than materials. Break a table and the atoms remain. Smash a rock and the atoms persist. Burn a forest and the atoms continue dancing exactly as before, because the stability of matter is not a property of objects, it is a property of reality itself. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. This is not just physics anymore. This is a lesson about how the universe prefers to operate. Not with absolutes, not with extremes, but with tension, with limits, with balance. And in the next part, we'll go deeper into this strange resistance. We'll talk about why electrons don't fall, why solidity is an illusion, and why your intuition keeps betraying you when you think about the smallest things, because the deeper you look, the more you realize atoms shouldn't exist, and yet they do. And now let's go a little deeper, but slowly, because this is where intuition really starts to break. We like to imagine electrons as tiny balls flying around a center, like insects around a lamp, or planets around a sun. It feels natural. It feels familiar. It feels safe. But it's wrong. Electrons are not little beads. They don't follow neat paths. They don't behave like marbles. They are not located in one clean place moving in one clean direction. They are more like patterns than objects, more like behavior than things. And when you try to force them into a tiny space, reality resists, not emotionally, not mechanically, but structurally. Let me give you a simple image. Imagine trying to trap a sound in a box. You close the lid. The sound doesn't sit still. It spreads. It reflects. It fills space. The smaller the box, the more chaotic it becomes, the more pressure builds. Now imagine doing that not with sound, but with existence itself. The smaller you try to trap an electron, the more restless it becomes, the more energy it demands, the more unstable the situation becomes. Not because the electron is stubborn, not because it is alive, but because the universe does not allow perfect stillness. Stillness has a cost. Precision has a cost. Confinement has a cost. And atoms are the point where that cost becomes too high to pay. So the electron doesn't fall, not because it's being held up, but because collapsing further would violate the rules. This is deeply important. Stability is not achieved by holding things still. Stability is achieved by preventing stillness. That sounds like a contradiction, but it isn't. Imagine a bicycle. A bicycle stays upright not because it is still, but because it is moving. Stop the motion and it falls. Motion creates stability. Atoms work in a similar way. The internal motion, the internal uncertainty, the internal restlessness. This is what creates structure. No motion, no atoms, no uncertainty, no matter, no limits, no stability. And suddenly, solidity looks very different. That table in front of you is not solid because it is packed tightly. It is solid because the internal patterns of motion and resistance prevent collapse and prevent intrusion. Your hand doesn't pass through the table not because the table is dense, but because the rules of interaction create boundaries that feel solid. Solidity is not a substance, it's a behavior. And that behavior exists only because the universe enforces limits on how things can exist. This is why common sense fails. Common sense says, if something is pulled inward, it should go inward. Reality says, only if the rules allow it. Common sense says, if space is empty, things should fall through. Reality says, only if interactions permit it. Common sense wants straight lines and simple causes. Reality operates with constraints and trade-offs. And once you understand this, atoms stop looking like objects and start looking like agreements. Agreements between forces, agreements between rules, agreements enforced by the structure of reality itself. They are not things, they are relationships. Now here's the part that really changes how you see everything. Nothing in your daily life feels like this. You don't experience restriction-based stability. You experience friction. pressure, support, weight, solidity, all large-scale effects. So your brain builds a model of the world where things stay in place because they are strong, heavy, or held. But the real reason things stay in place is because the universe doesn't allow them to be anywhere else easily. It's not that atoms want to stay where they are, it's that moving them costs too much. Energy is the currency of reality, and atoms exist where the cost is balanced. Too much inward movement costs energy. Too much outward movement costs energy. So matter settles into patterns where the cost is minimized, not eliminated. And this is crucial. The universe does not seek stillness. It seeks balance, not peace, not rest, not silence, balance. This is why atoms exist. This is why chemistry exists. This is why structures exist. This is why complexity exists. This is why life exists. Because balance creates space for patterns to persist. If everything collapsed, nothing could happen. If everything flew apart, nothing could form. So reality lives in between, and you live in that between. Your body is not a solid object. It's a dynamic structure, a pattern that holds shape because the rules allow it to, a temporary arrangement of restless parts. You are not made of still matter. You are made of controlled instability. And that is not poetic language. That is literal truth. Every breath you take depends on electrons not collapsing. Every thought you think depends on atomic stability. Every memory you hold depends on these invisible balances. So when we ask, why do atoms exist? We are really asking, why does balance exist? And physics can describe the rules. It can describe T. He limits. It can describe the patterns, but it cannot tell us why these rules exist instead of others. And that's where science meets mystery. Not mystery as ignorance, but mystery as depth. The deeper you go, the more you realize the universe is not designed for simplicity, it is designed for consistency, for structure, for self-consistency. Not beauty for our eyes, but coherence in its laws, and atoms are one of the most perfect expressions of that coherence. They are not common sense, they are deeper than common sense. They exist not because they should, but because the universe cannot allow them not to. So now we're standing at a strange edge. We've talked about electrons refusing to collapse, about motion creating stability, about balance enforced by rules rather than strength. And at this point, something quietly shifts, because this is no longer just a story about atoms. It's a story about how reality itself behaves. You might notice something unsettling by now. The universe does not build things the way we would. If we were in charge, we'd probably make matter solid, firm, locked in place. We'd make stability come from stillness. We'd make things simple. But the universe chose the opposite. It made stability come from motion. It made structure come from uncertainty. It made permanence come from constant activity. Nothing at the deepest level is ever truly at rest. And that should make you pause, because everything familiar in your life, chairs, walls, mountains, your own body, feels calm, still, reliable. Yet all of it is built on restless behavior that never stops, never settles, never freezes. Reality is not quiet underneath. It's busy. It's vibrating. It's negotiating with itself at every moment. And atoms are the smallest place where that negotiation becomes visible. Think about how this changes the meaning of existence. We tend to think something exists because it is solid, because it occupies space, because it resists being moved. But atoms show us that existence is not about being rigid. It's about being allowed by rules, allowed by limits, allowed by balances that prevent extremes. Matter exists because reality says you may not collapse completely and you may not fly apart freely. That's it. No intention, no plan, no guarantee, just constraints. And from those constraints comes everything. Stars burn for billions of years because collapse and expansion are held in check. Planets remain in orbit because falling and escaping are both restricted. Life survives because chemical reactions happen within narrow windows of possibility. Even your own thoughts follow this pattern. Too much order, and the mind becomes rigid. Too much chaos, and it dissolves into noise. Thought lives in balance, just like atoms do. Once you see this pattern, it appears everywhere. The universe does not reward extremes. It rewards balance. And balance is not static. It is active. It is maintained moment by moment. This is why common sense keeps failing us. Common sense expects final states, rest, completion, endpoints. But the universe does not aim for endpoints. It aims for ongoing consistency. Atoms are not finished products. They are ongoing processes. You are not a finished object. You are an ongoing process. That realization can feel uncomfortable. We like to think of ourselves as solid, defined, fixed. But at the deepest level, you are more like a flame than a stone, a pattern that persists only because conditions allow it to continue. And this doesn't make existence meaningless. It makes it precious, because nothing is guaranteed. The rules that allow atoms to exist could have been different, slightly different balances, slightly different limits, and the universe would be empty of structure. No chemistry, no biology, no observers wondering why atoms exist. And yet, here we are, not because the universe owed us anything, but because balance happened to be possible. Physics can describe this balance beautifully. It can predict it. It can measure it. It can use it to build technologies and understand nature. But physics cannot tell us why these rules exist instead of others. And maybe it never will. That unanswered why is not a failure of science. It is a reminder that understanding has depth, that explanation has layers, that no matter how far we go, there will always be questions left open. Feynman loved this. He wasn't bothered by not knowing everything. He was bothered by pretending we did. He understood that the beauty of physics is not in providing comfort, but in revealing strangeness honestly. Atoms don't exist because they make sense to us. They exist because the universe is consistent with itself. And we are learning to listen. So the next time you hold something solid in your hand, remember this. It is not solid in the way you think. It is a delicate balance of restlessness, held together by rules you cannot see. The next time you feel small in the universe, remember that the same rules that stabilize atoms also make your existence pause. Sibyl, you are not separate from these laws. You are a consequence of them, and perhaps the most important lesson atoms teach us is not about physics at all, but about perspective. That reality is deeper than intuition. That stability comes from tension. That existence is not a given, but a balance continually maintained. Atoms shouldn't exist, and yet they do. And in that quiet contradiction, the universe invites us, not to stop asking questions, but to keep wondering with humility, curiosity, and awe.